All right. Welcome here. This is our podcast, User Not Found. Um, yeah, we're just doing podcasts here about things in the world and things like AI or maybe even things in the past. But we're probably gonna be going around a lot of topics and yeah.
Yeah, User-Naut, as defined by ChatGPT, is a person that explores the outer world of technology and the inner world of the subconscious. So we'll be jumping around from topic to topic, and hopefully you guys enjoy our conversations
And learn something.
and learn something. What are you looking to get out of the podcast?
I'm looking to get out people learning new things and having a good experience.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to conversations with you, even if nobody else listens. I think there's a lot of value in just us talking about it. And just as an introduction, I'm Jacoby's dad. This is Jacoby. He's
Hi.
about to turn 11 in a week.
In a week, yeah.
Exciting stuff. And yeah, so we're just going to have a free form conversation about anything and everything that's interesting to us.
Yeah. And like that, like some things in like ChatGPT,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy because it's evolving so fast. Like, speaking of evolving, people think that ancient times, like ancient when people built pyramids and when people did that, they were a lot more high tech than we think. Like, they think inside the pyramids they had like more advanced stuff than we do today.
Yeah, it's interesting when they date those pyramids. You know that a lot of people say that they're somewhere around 7,000 years old, but there are archaeologists and professors like Dr. Randall Carlson um, and other doctors that believe that it's much older, and that society is was much more advanced than they say it was. Really interesting stuff. One of the more interesting topics I think that I'd like to dive into.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. Like, they think they might have had like, for example, maybe more advanced airplanes or travel systems, like more advanced airplanes that could go way higher or that could go way farther. But like they think they stored that somewhere, or not even in pyramid times, just like a long time ago, and they probably think that that's
yeah.
yeah.
Actually, have you ever heard of the lost city of Atlantis?
Yes, I have. It's like a thing where Atlantis was basically a big preview. Atlantis was an island. It was like a big thing, and then they just got underwater, and people claim to have seen the city of it. Like they think
Yeah,
they've seen it.
there was recently a podcast episode on Joe Rogan, and he had, I forget the name of the guy, but he was an expert on Atlantis. And he says that there's a site in the middle of the Sahara Desert that is obviously at one point was uh, was watery, like there was water there at one point, and it shows like these circular style striations in the sand, and it's almost a perfect picture of what Plato described when he described the lost city of Atlantis.
Plato.
Yeah, you know Plato and Socrates, the philosopher. He was a philosopher from ancient Greece that had a lot of theories and developed a lot of our modern way of thinking. But he spoke of an ancient city, and they called it Atlantis. So that was that was something that Plato brought up years and years ago, and he gave a description of the city. And so this place, this guy claims, who was on Joe Rogan podcast, really looks a lot like that.
Like yeah, like he claim like that the city, like instead of like Techno City, it was just like a huge, way more advanced city than today, like a bunch of like, just imagine just a futuristic city, or would it be like a sea city with just like temples and stuff?
It was a he doesn't really get into what kind of technology they had, but he definitely does bring up that it was a metropolis and a much larger and more advanced society than we thought would have existed that long ago, because this would have been back in the Stone Age, what we
Hmm.
consider the Stone Age.
Like it would be a city, not like a city like way more advanced than us, but way more advanced than we would think they would be. Like
Yeah.
maybe maybe Rockford, for example, or even
Mm,
more.
even more, it's hard to tell. I don't think we can even compare it to modern society or technology, because we developed technology based off of the internal combustion engine, meaning that we have an engine, and that's really what we based all of our industrial technology around. And gas burning engines is what we maybe they had some other type of source of energy. Like, I've even heard crazy wild theories that people come up with, that they somehow harness the energy from seeds, and
Yeah,
that they were able to harvest that energy in some kind of engine and then transfer that to flying cars. Uh,
maybe they like had like today, maybe in like middle school class, high school, that you have the thing where you just have to make energy from something that's not like a battery,
mm-hmm,
like maybe like a potato or a fruit.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Maybe they had like potato factories that made maybe they had like factories that had those and they made energy.
Potato factory
Yeah.
energy. I like that. And going back to Greece for a moment, they had those jars where they would connect some kind of electrode to a lemon and then generate energy in old jars in Egypt. So that's super super interesting that they at least had the idea of what electricity was back then. Um, and they also had these vases. I forget the exact name of the vases, but they recently took these vases that they found at archaeological sites in Egypt, and they took them into a lab, and they said that there is no way that these were made without a machine, because they were so perfect, down to
It was impossible for
three
it.
thousandths of a millimeter, something like that, something to like your hair. So the circle around the top was so perfect that like even a hair follicle width was as big as um, any change was made within that little circle. So it was just a perfect vase.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of like energy and that stuff, um, there's like this thing called ball lightning. It's a super rare phenomenon. There's only like five known clips of it ever. There's drawings of it, and there's like drawings of it, but like there's only like five maybe 10 known clips of it. And it's when lightning like strikes down, and it forms. Scientists, it's so rare they don't even know how it forms. They have
Hmm.
no idea. They
Hmm.
just think it's a big ball of plasma that it can go through walls. It can explode at any moment. Basically, Mother Nature's grenade or bomb. But it can just go through walls. It can it can set things on fire. But yeah, there's like old drawings from like the 1900s of like a it's like maybe like as big as a basketball.
Hmm.
There's like drawings of it
Hmm.
coming through houses or exploding, but if you search it up, you'll only find like 5, 10 main clips of it.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because I've seen videos of people claiming that they saw a UFO, and you'll see a
Yeah.
bright sphere in the eye, and, and
Yeah.
and it'll just be flying around, and you'll see all the comments claiming, "Oh no, that's just ball lightning. That's just ball lightning."
Yeah, yeah.
But
Like
they're
people.
orbs in the sky moving around. I've never actually witnessed any ball lightning. Here we have something called heat lightning. I'm not really sure how it works, but it's got to be something when on hot summer nights there's a charge in the sky without any clouds, and there's a difference, and then all of a sudden you'll see the sky flash, but it'll be an entire sky. It's not like a ball of plasma that comes
Mm.
down. Have you ever seen heat lightning? on a clear night?
Uh, I don't. I'm not. I don't think so. I might have, but I probably didn't think much of it
Hmm.
because no, I didn't know. But no, I'm not sure. But that is interesting. It's just like a big. It just forms heat and heat, and then just
Yeah, yeah.
explodes.
Somehow the heat makes a charge, a positive and negative charge, and then it'll
Boom.
flash really hard. So it's cool.
Like the entire sky turns, or like a section of the
It
sky.
looks like the entire sky, and but it's really fast. Um, it looks like the entire sky, but I've never seen anything light up the entire sky until I saw a large meteor fly into the atmosphere. It was before you were born, um, but there was a meteor that landed in Wisconsin, and
Oh, like how big?
it was large, like the size of a car. I want to say.
Whoa.
It didn't
It
obviously
didn't
it
do
burned up in the
anything.
atmosphere before it hit the ground.
If it
Um,
didn't burn up in the atmosphere, it probably would have done more
yeah,
destruction. Like even though it's as big as a car, which in the universe is so tiny, um, if it never like disintegrated or just didn't like lose its energy in the atmosphere, it probably would have done way more damage than you think.
absolutely.
It would have done catastrophic.
Catastrophic. And that kind of brings it back to what we were talking about earlier about how all of these um, advanced societies that have probably been erased from history,
They even think like
according.
they were they started in Mars
Yeah,
and that something went wrong and they had to come here.
it's completely possible because now Mars is a red planet and it's dry. There's no life. But it just goes to show how fragile modern life is because it could all go away and what would be left, say some, not to be a doomsday bringer, but say something were to happen where there was a mass extinction event. What would be left of our society in 3,000, 4,000 years? Because everything is wood. There's not a whole lot of big stone monuments other than the pyramids. There's nothing that wouldn't just kind of get washed over, or there's always buildup of sediment or sand or water, and it could just gets buried, and then who knows, some people survive, things go back into the ice age, the stone age, and everything goes in a cycle again.
Yeah,
So who knows how many cycles has really happened like that. That's one of the things that I think about that are really interesting.
yeah, same thing like of doomsday and your thing. The Yellowstone volcano.
Yeah, it's a
It's
super
like a
volcano.
super volcano, and
Mm-hmm.
it's expected to erupt 6,000 to 80,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
Every 6,000 to 80,000 years,
Mm-hmm.
and the last time it erupted was 640,000 years ago. Was the estimate. So people are saying like right now. I'm not. They're not saying it's gonna happen soon, but they're
Mm-hmm.
saying it could happen at any moment,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
that would send
that's.
Earth into another ice age because all of the like smoke and dust
Mm-hmm.
would cover the sky and atmosphere and block the sun and then send Earth into another ice age.
Right, right. That's completely possible. People just don't think about it, or they don't make protections around that. I really don't know what there is that we could do, uh, but I know that AI is one way to figure out what how to protect from asteroids or from
ChatGPT, what
catastrophes.
to do if the Yellowstone supervolcano erupts right now?
It would probably just be like, have a good time, party it up, and we'll see you next time around.
Yeah, if it erupted, I mean, you'd probably still have. I mean, even though it would cover the sky, you would probably have like a week left, maybe, because well, first of all, maybe some days, not your. It's not gonna end that day. I feel like because
That's something I
stuff.
feel like you could ask ChatGPT. How many days after a super volcano explosion do you have before winter sets in and the ice age sets in? Probably depends on how close you are to it, but either way, probably not. Uh,
If
probably not good for you to be far away and have that be a long process. Probably better off to be kind of close to that, as morbid as that sounds.
yeah, um, if it erupted right now, people would probably just, well, if they detected it was gonna erupt like in the next month or so, they would probably just like send people in rocket ships to Mars, like with suits and stuff,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
like food for like 20 years.
Oh man, I don't. I just really don't think we're prepared for anything like that, and I think that's why a lot of people are preparing. But I think it's not as scary of a thing as some other things going on.
Yeah.
But I digress. I think that I do agree with Dr. Randall Carlson saying that there was societies that were more advanced than we thought further back. There's a archaeological dig site called Gobekli Tepe. It's a hard word to say. Gobekli Tepe.
Gobekli Tepe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it is a massive, massive metropolis that is much, much older, and everything is dated much, much older than Egypt, much, much older than we thought. And so there's all these sites around the world where we have evidence of advanced societies.
Yeah, like Stonehenge, like
Mm-hmm.
those heads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those like entire bodies underneath, and they have no idea how they moved the things and got them underground because they weren't even able to pull it back up with all the stuff they had.
Mm-hmm.
So they're wondering how they did it with the stuff they had.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's incredible. The other day I saw a meme where it shows the pyramids, and then it kind of shows like a cross section of what's under the pyramids, and
mhm.
it just shows like long obelisks, like as if the pyramids were actually towers, and the tip is what we can see, and really underneath it's just a gigantic, gigantic obelisk. Think of the Washington Monument. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
and
seen pictures of it. I haven't
yeah,
actually been there, but
right.
it's just that. But it's just the tip of it, and the rest is just underground.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But the pyramids are amazing, amazing.
They might not seem like much; they just look like big rooftop houses,
Right.
but like they got stuff inside. They like if you really think like it's not amazing of what you see,
Mm-hmm.
but like
Mm-hmm.
the history behind it.
The history behind it, but also when scientists, astrologists, people that know about the Earth, they analyze it and they see that it is directly, the angles are directly set up to the sky to point towards real north um, at all times. They have, I think, if you take it and you take the distance of a pyramid and you multiply it by 488. I'm no 48,000. I'm gonna have to check what that is.
But
It
like
will be the equator of the Earth.
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I heard that too. Heard that like today, like on a TikTok,
Hmm.
saying if you take if you times the pyramid by so and so, it will be the exact number of the equator of the Earth.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. So the diameter, everything. There's geometry involved. There's knowledge of space. There's knowledge of the Earth. There's knowledge in just the shape and the size of the pyramids that is stored away.
Yeah,
And so
like if oh dang, I had something thought in my mind, but it just went away. It just evaporated.
evaporated.
That's
Well, you know what? I was just recently saw um, that there was a study done in Japan about AI and being able to read your mind.
mhm.
So if that technology was available right now, it would be able to tell you, "Oh, Jacoby,
Oh
this
yeah.
is what you were thinking about."
Okay, I remembered the thing. So like
Make
like
sure you're talking to the
yeah,
mic.
so like one thing could be maybe one little thing could be a coincidence about how did they do this? They just somehow or like the pyramids, the equator of the earth, it's just a coincidence. But by now there's too many coincidences for it not to be possible that they had other stuff that we don't have today.
Mm, yeah, they definitely had some kind of knowledge, some kind of source.
There's no
Um,
way they didn't.
yeah, there's also the Sumerian tribe. Have you ever heard of them? They're
Mm-mm.
an ancient civilization, but they had maps. They have these stone uh, plaques that temples. I don't know what you want to call them, but they have maps of the solar system on them. So they'll show the orbit of each planet with the sun in the middle, and this is thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, where the Sumerians were around. How did they have that? In Africa, there's a tribe called the Dogon tribe, and they also had star maps. And so, how would they have all of this stuff?
That's a notification.
That's a notification.
That's also
20 minutes. All
So,
right.
yeah, I think that's gonna do it.
Yeah, that'll be good for the first one. We talked
Yeah.
about some ancient stuff, and then we can get into modern society later on.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did talk about some modern society, but that
Yeah.
was mostly ancient. But yeah.
We can also maybe do some research since a lot of this stuff is off the top of our head, which I think makes for a great conversation. Maybe have some stuff planned out and then do a little bit of research behind it for the next one.
Yeah.
Cool.
All
All
right.
right. Hope you enjoyed.